So if you're watching this, you might have asked yourself, am I having a midlife crisis? So there's a specific pattern that happens when we're having a midlife crisis. And first of all, it could be happening most likely in your midlife. So if you're around the age of 38 all the way up to 65 or more, you could be having a midlife crisis. Now, one thing that triggers the midlife crisis around this age is the loss of a parental figure, okay? Or if the sickness of a parental figure. Also, noticeable changes in our own physical health can also trigger a midlife crisis. Now, if we have been living our life up until this point, subordinating to others, not living true to ourselves, we also make ourselves vulnerable for a midlife crisis to happen. Now, midlife crisis isn't really very accurate of a term except for in terms of timing. What would be more accurate is to call it an identity crisis. Now we're starting to question everything. We may question every decision we've ever made, and our nervous system goes into fight or flight. When we're in fight or flight, we suddenly feel the need to take some dramatic action. And we can almost put ourselves, feel like we're in a bipolar state where we're constantly changing our mind from one perception to another perception. We're flipping. It's like a switch is going back and forth, on and off. And we're not stable in our perception. And we really start to lose trust in our own thoughts and our own perception and belief in ourselves. So, if any of these symptoms sound like you, then you may be having a midlife crisis. And another thing that happens within a midlife crisis is limerence. Limerence is when we can become completely infatuated with another person, and we will suddenly be hit with a feeling of ecstasy. And all the chemicals in our brain, our dopamine and oxytocin, whatever it is, begin to go off the charts. And then if we are separated from that person, or we're not in contact with that person, we go into a deep withdrawal, a chemical withdrawal. And now we begin to suffer, and we start to have the symptoms of grief. And we'll also have the symptoms of depression. So, dealing with our identity helps us to deal with the limerence. And dealing with our perceptions of ourself, and getting complete with the changes that have happened in our lives, including our physical changes, getting complete with the voids that have been created in our life, and getting complete with our regrets and our decisions and our actions that have happened in the past, clearing our resentments that have happened in the past, clearing our infatuations, will all help us to become more authentic, to start living in our true, authentic values, and we can start to move forward, and we can start to really discover who we are. We can start to discover our true potential, and we can start to live a fulfilling life. Rather than chasing pleasure and trying to avoid pain, we can start to achieve real fulfillment, real joy. The type of joy that doesn't just depend on our external circumstances. We can stop chasing external circumstances to try to fill our empty cup, and we can start to fill our cup from within. I'll show you how. Subscribe and we'll keep going. I'm going to